diving a little bit into the complexity, it's an interesting time frame for you because you were already in tier two, but you were trying to make your way fighting into tier one. Obviously, with respect to open qualifiers and challenger scene before it became to this current format. Um, and you mentioned about how you were surrounded by not a pretty good team. So how do you look at your time with complexity, with all of the struggles that you've seen? What's the biggest struggle that you experienced? Because was that due to the fact that you didn't really have a good team surrounding you, or was it all what, or was there a part in just you not being as good of a player as you are right now? So like, how do you view that?
Yeah, so on complexity, I felt like I wasn't on the right role. They picked me up for Sova. I think the biggest issue with that team was um we had some conflicting roles in terms of like they picked me up for Sova, but I should have been playing duelist. Like Sova's and I was pretty inexperienced too. Um so I think while I was, learning how to play the game and learning how to compete in tier one, I think playing Sova was not very good for me. I don't think I learned a lot from that team either. No offense. It's like 3 years later. I hope they don't get mad at me, but the team was just not great. Looking back on how we operated and handled practice and scrimmed, when we would scrim on that team, like we would scrim with no goal. I felt like, and we didn't really adapt. I noticed, like looking back on defense, we ran the same setup like 12 rounds on the half, and it was just like,
Whew.
come on. Yeah, it was not tier one gameplay on that team for sure. But a wake up call was definitely my next team. I played nearest airport with Frost, the ex Hundred Thieves coach, who's my coach now. I played under him for 6 months, and I learned a lot more fundamental stuff, which was and I got to play duelist, which is my natural role. But I think the main takeaway from complexity is yeah, I don't know why they put me on Sova. I think that was pretty troll. But then again, no one else on the team played Sova, so there's nothing I could do about it until the end, where they eventually put me on Sova or on Jet, but it was kind of too late, and yeah, it was just too late. But yeah, it was just that was kind of a nightmare looking back. But I mean, it was my first in terms of when I learned learning how to be a professional. It was it was cool because we went to boot camp, having a coach and having a routine and stuff like that, having mandatory stuff. Yeah, I definitely learned a little bit more professionalism on the team. But in terms of the game, I think we were pretty far behind looking back in terms of what other people were doing.
Mm-hmm. Did you feel, looking back at your time in complexity, with all of the struggles that you and the team experienced in 2022, do you feel that affected fans and players and the public's in general's perception as to how you are as a player? Because like, if they've seen
Oh,
you only play as Soba and they
oh,
see you struggle, then they must have
oh,
thought like, so yeah.
yeah. No, I was that really hurt my career and my reputation. Which is fair. When you do duelist things on Sova, you're gonna look like an idiot. When you're doing duelist things on duelist, you're gonna look like a duelist. It's fine, but that just made me look like I mean, I want to say it made me look dumb, but to be fair, it was pretty dumb. I only learned Sova because I wanted to and I was I know that I only started learning Sova because I knew at the time it was a desired agent, like a desired role that people needed. Like a lot of people needed a Sova at the time, so I learned it for a few months, and then I ended up playing it. But I think overall I belong on Duelist, or at this point I could play Flash Initiator, Sky Chaos, stuff like that. But at the time when I was previously just playing Jet and ranked, and just like that's how I got my name out in the first place. Me playing Sova and just doing dumb things definitely pissed a lot of people off in the pro scene, and I got a pretty bad rep from that. But I think now uh, I'm in a good spot where I overcame that, and because I had to start fresh, right? Like at that point, for before open qualifiers, I had limited options, and I just played with like some friends. Okeana was harmful. We did an adder,
Mm-hmm.
so my options were limited at the time. And I had played that team, but that team ended up being fucking good, so whatever. But um, it's nice that I had the chance to. Although I didn't like at that point, I stopped getting like opportunities because who I was. But now that I've kind of been through all that again and kind of reproven myself on the duelist role, I think the stuff from complexity has at least kind of gone away. There's probably some pros that still kind of think I'm an idiot, but I don't. I've been competing at a point long enough where I don't really care what other people think about me. Um, and I feel like I've matured past that. People can think what they want, but I know for me, I've seen improvement, and that's like all that matters. I feel like, and my confidence is there, at least.
Yeah, of course, and it sort of brings about a full circle moment because you mentioned about how you were picked up by nearest airport and Frost as the coach, and it's interesting to say that for you to say that because Frost is the head coach of Thailand right now,
Mm.
and so but before we get into the now of that relationship, I want to go back to the before and when Frost picked you up for nearest airport shortly after you left Complexity. What did he see you, or what did he see in you as a player that you felt you didn't have, or
Uh,
maybe you realized you didn't see in yourself at that moment in time?
Frost wanted to cut me actually.
Oh shoot! Woo.
Frost didn't like me the first week I was on the team because I was an idiot. I mean, I was. And he wanted to cut me, but everyone on the team like vouched for me. It's like, no, he's good, he's good. But what he told me later on was after like the first week, from there on, like he said that I improved a lot, and I like was a quick learner, and I like fixed my mistakes pretty quick, and I I was a good listener. I think I was just when I was on a team, I had a lot of respect for just everybody there, and I just did like I absorbed a lot. Like I just really tried absorbing everything and just like taking it as a learning opportunity. Um, and I learned pretty quick, and I think that's what he saw in me, that I was just a quick learner and I was quick to adapt, and follow through with everything that I was told.
Mhm. And God damn, what I can only imagine what maybe the your career would have been had Frost just went ahead and cut you after that first weekend in near Surfboard. Just it does make you think about like the what ifs aspect in that regard.
Yeah, it was a canon event. It was definitely had that happened, it would have changed a lot. I think even like there are tons of things that were choices that I made that could have affected my career for sure in big ways. Like I think even the way I got into Valorant was pretty crazy. The way I got into Valorant was I was playing CS:GO with just like my silver two, like I was smurfing with my silver two friends and just playing. They're like, "Hey, Valorant came out. You want to play Valorant with us?" And I'm like, "Nah, fuck that game. I play CS." I was like, "Fuck it." I mean, because of that friend group, I just played Valorant. I mean, oh man, no, but there definitely are tons of things that make me question, what if this didn't happen? What if this did happen? My career could have gone in different ways. What if I got to play Duelist for complexity? Who knows? What if I got to play Chamber when Chamber was, in meta? Who knows?
What if you didn't play solo and complexity also like yeah
Yeah. What if
maybe
I played Duelist? That's what I mean.
yeah.
Who knows?
Would you say that Frost not cutting you in northeast nearest airport, would you say that's the biggest canon event in your career?
Mm, it's one of them. I don't know. I've done a lot of things. Like I almost didn't compete. Like I almost just like did content completely because I was a content creator before, but I was like, I like left BBG, and I was making a good chunk of change doing streaming and just content and just being on that org. And I was like, all right, fuck it, I'm throwing it all, not throwing it all away, but I'm trading it in all for complexity and taking this leap. But I think that was probably my biggest can event, because there's a chance that I didn't even do competing, if I'm being honest. But ultimately, I don't regret it because I love this shit.